All right, whenever you're ready.
By raise of hands, how many of you here have dogs? All right. So how would you guys feel if you took your dogs into the vet and to do a routine teeth cleaning, and while your dog was under anesthesia, he died? You probably wouldn't feel very good about that, right? How would you feel if you found out that I could have cleaned your dog's teeth and this wouldn't have happened? My name is Samantha Whittington, and I'm a canine dental hygienist with the company called Canine Care. And what we do is use anesthesia-free teeth cleaning. So today what I'm going to talk to you guys about is the how anesthesia-free teeth cleaning is actually safer than putting your dogs under. And so you guys know, at age 3, dogs at age 3, 80% of them have periodontal disease, which is actually a kind of gum and teeth disease due to the buildup of tartar in the dog's mouth. So what I'm going to talk to you about today first is going to be how anesthesia is a risky kind of procedure, and then vets versus hygienists and what we do. So first, let me talk about the complications that come with anesthesia. Christian Westfair, DMD, which is Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, says that some of the symptoms of problems that can go along or complications come along with anesthesia are first, dangerously low blood pressure, dogs stop breathing while under anesthesia, dogs' heart rates drop to too low, and dogs can take a long time to wake up from anesthesia. Then we have Mike Richards, who is also DMV, who said the anesthetic death rate in pets right now is about 1 in every 400, which actually sounds pretty good. And he said that he even found statistics that say only about 10% of pets have post-surgery problems. However, he did also mention that there's not a lot of information out there saying that there is problems with anesthesia because it's not being reported quite properly yet. J.S. Gaynor did a research in 1999, 1 year, on 2,556 dogs and 683 cats that were anesthetized to try and get some odds, some statistics. And it said that about 179 dogs and 58 cats had hypotension, which is low heart rate, and that 64 dogs and 12 cats had cardiac dysrhythmia, which is the heart's beating wrong, and about 12% of dogs and 10% of cats had deaths because of this. Now, these seem like really good odds. So let me tell you my story, and let me just tell you a couple stories here. How about the fact that my dog almost died under anesthesia? So I guess maybe that's really 1 in 40, 400. Okay. What about my boss's dog? The reason she wholly started this company was because her dog also died under anesthesia. And I have so many friends' dogs, clients' dogs, and friends that I've become with whose dogs have died under this. So it's apparently a lot bigger of a problem than we know. So, and recovery time for dogs actually takes a day to a week, depending on your dog. It took my dog about a week to get back to his normal behavior, which is crazy and insane. It was not like that for the couple days. It was very scary, let me tell you. So that's some of the complications. Now let me talk to you about vets versus hygienists. First off, what does a vet do? So vets do pre-anesthetic exams, anesthetic monitoring, dental radiographs, which is x-rays, scaling and polishing, and fluoride and salins, which are anti-plaque. Now, what we do is almost exactly the same thing, except for we don't do radiographs or x-rays, radiographs or anesthesia. What we do is we secure the pet, and then we scale the teeth, rinse the teeth, polish the teeth, and spray them out to kill all the bacteria. Now, one of the things that vets say is that we don't polish the teeth, because polishing is a big deal. If you don't polish a dog's teeth afterwards, the plaque can build up and form into tartar a lot easier. And a lot of vets like to say we don't do that. Well, my company, and I can't speak for all, but my company does do that, and they teach us how to do that. And they also say another big deal is sprays. Spraying, if you don't spray correctly, a dog can inhale it and cause pneumonia. So that's something that needs to be taken care of. Now, we're actually trained to do this, and there are problems that can arise, like a dog could possibly bite you or something, but it's not that big of an issue. It's never happened to me. And we won't hesitate to send the dog to the vet if the mouth is really bad. We're not going to do something that is way above us. We're not hesitant like that. So the next thing that I really want to talk about really quick is cost. Vets cost around $75 to $350, reported from Cost Helper, which I've heard that they've gone up. I have my vet is in La Jolla. He charges $750, and my sister's vet charges $450. Anesthesia-free teeth cleaning costs us anywhere from $95 to $125. My company does $100. And the statistics on this are not really out on who doesn't do teeth, who doesn't get their dog's teeth because of it, but it's something that is obviously a problem because more than half of my dogs are 8, 9, 10 who haven't had their teeth cleaned before because it's too expensive. That's what everybody tells me. So basically what I want to sum up and say is that, number one, with anesthesia-free teeth cleaning, you're not going to have to worry about the concern of your dog dying. Number two, the cost is clearly much cheaper. And number three, we are trained individuals and we do know what we're doing. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who pretend like they know what they're doing, but then you also have to think about the vets who let the technicians do it and not the vets. I have had a couple of my clients' dogs' jaws broken by technicians while they were under. So it does happen. I'm not saying it's all vets, but just like it's not all hygienists that hurt dogs. So that's it.
All right, well, you start off, you've got the proposition phrased like a narrative claim. You want it to be a declarative sentence, and you say, I'm going to show you how this is true. No, you're going to make the argument that this is true. So be careful about the language. You do the same thing with the secondary claims. They sound, they're labels for an informative speech on the subject instead of declarative statements. At the exit in the summary, they were reworded a little bit, so they sound more like declarative sentences. A little confusing because they weren't in the same order in which they were presented at the end, so that was a little awkward. But you're closer at the end of the speech to making it an argument than you are at the beginning part of the speech. You did okay on the signposting. The same problem, though, is a lot of them are not really declarative statements. They're just, here's the next thing. For instance, on the second point, when you're talking about, I'm going to tell you the difference between vets and hygienists, I'm going, okay, well, what's the argument? What inference am I supposed to? This is the point where you need to say a hygienist can do as good a job as a vet. There's your declarative sentence that clearly tells us what the argument is. So you want to be very clear about those kinds of things. The evidence that you had, I like the quotes on the first point, and you had some statistical information on it also. It's a little inconsistent because sometimes it sounds like you're trying to, portray the information correctly, but there's also some reservation as to whether or not the information is trustworthy and reliable, and you're bouncing back and forth. Make a stronger argument on this. I think that the argument ought to be, look, there's substantially more risk when you do the anesthetic. Yeah, I knew the word. It was just taking a second to get there. When you do the anesthetic to get this particular result, compared to non-anesthetic treatment. And even though the anesthetic treatment seems to be like it's relatively safe, the truth of the matter is it's largely underreported, and I believe it's substantially greater than it is actually being presented. Make an argument. Don't back away from the